If you had one piece of advice on parents, be aware of this. If you want to have great connection with your kids, there's one fundamental thing that really is virtually uncompromisable. What must you do? What must you offer?
You know what just popped into my head is treat your children as if they're your grandchildren.
That's interesting.
I never thought about that before until you just said that, and I often go with what I think at the time.
Yeah. Why did you say that?
Because my definition of my children are 40-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay. I love my children. I have to. You know, you birthed them. It came with
There's a biological imperative.
It came with the rules.
Comes with the territory.
You love them. And your role as a parent, I believe, is not to raise children, it's to raise adults.
Yeah.
Because you want people to be able to function in society. You don't want them to be children all their lives and try be adult children.
Yeah.
But I'm in love with my grandchildren.
Yeah.
It's a different space.
Yeah.
So I tend to not let them get away with things. I'm still that monitoring grandmother, but I allow them more to be themselves. And I don't know whether that's because it's 2024 and when I was raising mine was 40 years ago, you know, it was in the 80s. But I allow them more to be the human beings that they are.
I like that.
Yeah. Do you think that's also because you've got a generation in between, right? So they're less an expression of you yourself directly.
I totally agree with that.
And that gives you a little bit of distance. We were talking about distance off mic. So, you can better approach that situation. Really cool.
Chipster, I'm actually thinking, I can't remember the podcast, but I've got a few voices in the back of the head over here and I've forgotten who they are. But they did speak about how easy it is for parents to project their want onto their child. Therefore, we treat our child so preciously. We almost want to mould and shape their direction. Johnny Cootis, he said the helicopter parent is gone.
And
but you'll be pleased to know, Bernie, that they've been replaced by the lawnmower parent, right? The lawnmower parent, Janine, is the one who creates the path for their child and says, you will go down this path. I've moulded and shaped it for you. The little problem is when the kid gets off path at a 20, 25-year-old, they know where to turn. They haven't been trained to create their own path. So where do they go? Back to mum and dad. You know, it's a bit an exaggerated image, but it was a beautiful image of a lot that I think does go on. What I hear you saying with our grandchildren is you don't feel as responsible to mould and shape their direction and their future, and you give them the space to discover that themselves as their own little people.
Yes, I as I said, I hadn't even thought about it until you asked the question, and that's my experience now because I get to experience with grandchildren.
Well, I think it's so great. We can finish the podcast here because that is a bloody super duper take home paycheck, don't you reckon?
Absolutely. You've done my job for me too. Take the day, people.